And I needed you to know why I came by.
Yeah, I need you to tell us why.
People know I don't go everywhere. I'm not interested in talking to people unless it's like a Larry King or somebody of an amazing ilk that I would actually want to go talk to. You made a safe place for the truth to be told. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Now, if he's willing to pay that price, there's a price to be paid for greatness. There's a price to be paid for success. And if you're not willing to pay that price, you don't deserve to be successful. You don't deserve to be great. He says, he told me, and my guy, Jordan is over there, he said, now they're going to come for you. I said, can't come for me for what? I didn't say anything.
Right.
Following a severe reaction and abrupt cancellation, Katt Williams has defended Shannon Sharpe. The controversial situation involves Sharpe, who is well known for his bold and provocative commentary after a series of remarks and actions made a stir on social media. The heated argument during a live broadcast is at the center of the controversy, as Sharpe's remarks were deemed offensive by many, leading to calls for his cancellation. Let's delve deeper into this controversy, but first, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for the most current information on your favorite celebrities.
When you did that interview with Katt, I could respect how you do it. Because Katt said, you let them people lie in your face. And your response was, Katt, I don't know if they're lying or not.
Right.
Because I can only take them at their word.
Yeah. I'm telling you this, and I want somebody to send it to you. And I've been seeing it in the chat.
Yeah.
Y'all know who I'm talking about.
I don't know who you're talking about, but I'm with you.
Say my name again, and I'm gonna release the DM.
Genius of Katt Williams is up. By the time you realize he's also talking about you, Shannon, it's too late.
I didn't want to get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan Majors.
Come on,
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women.
I didn't know it was gonna cause this kind of ripple. I didn't think it was gonna move me in the direction. I'm glad it did.
Shannon Sharpe is currently experiencing firsthand the toxicity of the industry, something Katt Williams warned about a few months ago, and which is becoming more and more apparent for him despite the amazing traction. Being a star usually comes with enormous obstacles. In a recent interview, Shannon voiced his frustration over attempts by different celebrities to cancel his show and undermine his success. These attempts have escalated to threats, and many guests who were once eager to appear on his show have suddenly canceled without reason. Shannon's show, Club Shay, has gained especially following Katt's interview. However, his recent success hasn't been widely embraced in the business.
I'm like, you think so? He's like, Shannon. And he's looking at me just like I'm looking at you, Cam. He's like, Shannon, this is gonna be viral for the whole year. I said, come on, man.
In an unexpected move, Katt Williams used social media to publicly back Shannon Sharpe, who is well known for his provocative remarks and daring comedic style. Williams stood up for Sharpe's freedom to voice his ideas without worrying about being silenced.
And that's why it resonates. And the reason I had to come is because you've made a safe place for the truth to be told. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I appreciate
And
that.
I have watched all of these lowbrow comedians come here and disrespect you in your face and tell you straight up lies. I'm talking about things that have never been heard in all of Black Hollywood.
He emphasized the value of free speech and a community that accepts different points of view, regardless of how controversial or divisive they may be. Williams argued that canceling Sharpe due to his remarks creates a risky precedent that erodes candid and open communication. Both his fans and Sharpe supporters have overwhelmingly backed Williams' defense of the team. Many have praised Williams for speaking up against cancel culture and supporting constructive dialogue as opposed to division. Shannon's situation is getting worse. There are speculations that his life may be in danger because of the growing animosity. His posts were full of words of support and agreement. We have always known about the industry's poison. Williams said,
Product here, and as a fan base, we love the attention that you spend on the guest. We love how much work you've done, how well you know them, how prepared you are. The same things that we liked about you in football. You brought that on over to here.
Shannon Sharpe expanded on why celebrities feel comfortable sharing their tales on his podcast in a recent interview, discussing the disconcerting issues he's experienced since his famous chat with Katt Williams earlier this year. Shannon Sharpe also spoke with Cam Newton about this topic. Shannon emphasized that he has never claimed to be a journalist and does not identify as one for those who may not be familiar, explaining that before each interview, he asks his guests if there are any topics they prefer to avoid in an effort to create a comfortable environment where they can genuinely express themselves. After a stellar football career that saw him inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2011, Shannon Sharpe made the move to broadcasting, working as a commentator on CBS Sports' NFL Today pregame show. In 2013, the show included parts like the Sprint Halftime Report and the Subway postgame show. Shannon expanded his profile by writing for Fitness RX for Men magazine and acting as its ambassador. Later in 2016, he even featured on the magazine's cover. He also teamed up with Skip Biss on the FS1 sports discussion show. Shannon and Skip unquestionably, in addition to hosting Club Shay, Shannon Sharpe co-hosts another podcast, Nightcap, with former NFL player Chad O'Johnson. However, Club Shay stands out for its popularity due to several viral interviews with notable figures like Steve Harvey and Katt Williams, especially the 2021 episode starring Bubble. Shannon Sharpe didn't jump into streaming merely to follow a trend. The editorial team of Apple Podcasts gave Wallace special recognition, emphasizing its value. Shannon Sharpe established Club Shay in 2020 amid the pandemic, finding a new passion for podcasting after quitting from professional sports. Shannon Sharpe's journey shows his perseverance and aptitude for capturing his audience despite industry hurdles and adversity. Despite having vast media expertise,
Steve Harvey is my most viewed podcast. He's at 8 million. I say, you think we're going to beat Steve? He's like, yeah. I'm hoping for 10 million.
Yeah.
That's all. Cam, if I get 10 million, I'm like, that's a pretty good interview.
Yeah.
Think about how few people that's in this space that interview people that don't get 10 million. So if I get 10 million, that's one of the biggest podcasts. Now, that's not Joe Rogan's numbers, but that's pretty good for an up-and-coming podcast.
Shannon sees himself as a converse ace rather than a journalist. His goal was to provide a place where Black celebrities could tell their tales freely without fear of harsh judgment. After a year of trying to book Katt Williams, Shannon finally got his chance when he met Katt's new manager by accident, who made the connection. A week later, Katt was spilling business secrets on Club Shay. Shannon was taken aback by the podcast's phenomenal success in 2024, which was largely credited to Katt Williams. Shannon Sharpe's producer had expected a big breakthrough after the session with Katt Williams, but Shannon himself thought the episode might have best surpassed the Steve Harvey one, hitting about 10 million views. To his surprise, it far exceeded those predictions. Prior to that, Shannon Sharpe's most watched YouTube show had been with Steve Harvey, garnering around 8 million views. The Katt Williams episode shows Shannon's ability to connect with viewers despite obstacles in the business and criticism.
Kevin told you he wasn't going to wear no dress until they offered him the dress, and then he put it on. And what did he say after he wore it? I made my own decision. Duh. But you didn't make it before they brought it up, did you?
Katt Williams made news by accusing Kevin Hart of being an industry plant. He began by criticizing Kevin's portrayal of his East Coast routes, stating that it seemed improbable for Kevin to start his career there and then quickly gain major recognition unless AD expressed skepticism about Kevin Swift's ascent in the industry, pointing out that he seemed to appear out of nowhere and land big roles and TV gigs, a process that usually takes years for comedians to land. Katt suggested that Kevin's success was the result of dubious practices, suggesting that he was an industry plant. He also accused Kevin of acting as a gatekeeper, facilitating the rise of other alleged industry plants like Tiffany Haddish.
Kevin Hart wearing a dress in the SNL skit. And Dave Chappelle spoke about that as a comedian. Black actors are always, being asked to wear dresses. Have you ran into that? And what do you think about that whole Illuminati theory that people put out there about that?
It's two answers. First of all, let's be very, very clear. It is possible that there isn't anything funnier than a guy in a dress. And if that's the case, then it might also be said that there's nothing funnier than a black guy in a dress. Okay, well, I watched all of my friends throughout my entire life be able to dunk a basketball, but not me. So everybody can't do everything. So, some of us make choices. I think it's not a biggest choice for others.
Given their lengthy history of animosity, Katt Williams' harsh criticism of Kevin Hart was hardly surprising. In a previous interview, CAG voiced his disapproval of Kevin's decision to wear a dress on screen, arguing that such portrayals of straight black men were part of an industry gatekeeper's deliberate plot to undermine black manhood. Katt also highlighted a troubling pattern. Whenever he comes out, the industry reacts by undermining his credibility and portraying him as unstable. When Katt spoke on Shannon Sharpe's show earlier this year, he warned Shannon about the possible consequences of transforming Club Shay into a venue for candid storytelling. It appears that Shannon Sharpe is currently dealing with a similar reaction.
The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he wear a suit and then he gets this high top fade, making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business.
The extent of the criticism he faced caught him off guard. Once excited about his event, attendees are now rescinding their invites. Shannon is being attacked for his interviewing style, drawing a barrage of disparaging comments and efforts to suppress him. For example, D.L. Hughley took great issue at Katt's comments about other comics, even though Katt behaved respectfully during their Club Shay interview. Although there has never been any known conflict between Shannon and Hughley, this sudden hostility raises questions. It seems that Hughley's displeasure may have come from the attention that Shannon and Katt got, which motivated him to want to destroy their success. But he isn't the only one. It's also said that Steve Harvey, who previously appeared as a guest on Club Shay for a well-liked interview covering a wide range of topics, is complicit in efforts to impede Shannon's career.
You could have just said, no, I'm not going to do it. You have been the king of comedy as long as we've had one. Matter of fact, the whole phrase, king of comedy, can be attributed to you. And I am honored that you would allow me to share the same stage as you.
The most watched video on the podcast was Katt Williams' appearance on Club Shay, where he caused a big spike in viewership. Katt also accused Steve Harvey of stealing his story about living in a car and spreading harmful stereotypes about African American guys. This wasn't the first time Katt had criticized Steve. He had previously claimed that Steve tried to force Cedric the Entertainer to wear feminine clothing and that this was part of a larger Hollywood plan to undermine black men. Katt felt that Steve was making fun of Cedric because he felt threatened by Cedric's ability to avoid looking bad. On New Year's Eve, Steve made an appearance on Jamie Foxx's satellite radio show. Promising to rise above the drama and not become involved in a small time, he shared a saying from his grandfather with Feud. Dogs don't just bark at moving cars, they also constantly bark at the moon. If the moon responds, the dog gets notoriety. You might have simply refused, saying that you were the king of humor for as long as we've known each other. In fact, you are the source of the term king of comedy, and I'm glad that you would let me share the stage with you.
And I want to let you know that I would never do nothing to hurt you, but the conversation kept going on. Only for Tyler Perry to admit he did start a rumor that I was difficult to work with. He lied. Only for Tyler Perry to admit I was wrong, and when my movie Boo come out, I'm going to say that.
Because, and I look at my producer and he's shaking his head. I'm like, oh man, we done messed up. So I'm like, what did I say?
Yeah.
Did I say something? Did he? He like, this is gonna be the talk of 24.
No way.
I'm like, you think so? He's like, Shannon. And he's looking at me just like I'm looking at you, Cam. He's like, Shannon, this is gonna be viral.
Then he said some stuff that we haven't heard in 100 years in Hollywood. You ain't say nothing. This man told you he had Katt Williams' role. He was gonna be Money Mike. And Katt Williams was gonna be the Santa Claus.